Sudhin Choksey, Managing Director, Gruh Finance, Rohit Raj Modi, Director with ASEAN Homes, they both join us, and let's take the conversation forward with them. Mr. Choksey, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Choksey, what is the problem in the HFC space? Is it liquidity? And if it is liquidity, then for a company like yours, which has a great parentage, you can raise capital on tap because of your track record. How come your numbers are also slowing down?
I think, you saw what happened during the last financial year. The couple of months in the month of October, November, the things had completely slowed down because of the general risk awareness and the liquidity which had got crunched in the last week of September. I think from the month of December, there has been a very normal, disbursements, and I don't see there has been any significant slowdown. Obviously, in general, the supply side situation has been moving slow, especially at affordable housing segment. And the overall real estate problems which are there, they are more at a mid or at a high end of the market. I think at the low end of the market, the challenge is more of creating a supply.
Mr. Modi, let's get in your take because, as my colleague was just talking about, the real estate sector is in the grip of quite a slowdown. We've seen a lot of issues that have beleaguered the sector. What do you think the government needs to do at the current juncture in terms of their intention for affordable housing for all?
See, at a broader level, two things are highly required. Stimulus for creating demand for housing is very, very important. And at the same time, resolving the liquidity supply to the property developers is also very important. While we all know that since October, there has been a dearth of supply of liquidity to the developer side, and that continues to hold true, and that can have a domino effect if it's not resolved soon enough. While there has been a slower than expected growth in the mortgage side and a lower growth in the loan against property, but the developer funding for construction has virtually come to a grinding halt, and that needs to be resolved. But more importantly, the demand side, demand creation is very, very important, and we do expect that the government is going to take some concrete steps in this coming budget for that.
Mr. Modi, so one side is this entire view that, okay, there is no liquidity. That is the reason why HFCs are suffering. So if liquidity is sorted, will HFC come back, or this is going to be a prolonged issue for next couple of quarters and then the natural demand will spring back?
So, demand has been slacking for a long time. It's not that slowdown in demand is a creation of this liquidity issue. Slowdown of demand is the one which has created this whole problem of developers repaying on time and so on and so forth. So first and foremost, the demand creation needs to be tackled. While we all know that this government and the previous government in last 5.5 years has done tremendously on the affordable housing side. They have really walked the talk on affordable housing side. But it's high time that steps are taken to resolve the middle income housing conundrum as well, because the fact remains that while a large amount of equity of developers and debt from the HFCs or NBFCs funding property developers is stuck in this middle income housing space, until this amount doesn't rotate, fresh investment from the private sector en masse for affordable housing is going to be always a challenge.
Sudhin, wanted to understand from you, because it's an interesting dynamic for a company like yours. You've got the job market, which is, wherein unemployment is at a 40-year high. More importantly, you're within a sector which has been beleaguered for the last 5 years. Do you worry at all that for the first time, perhaps you could dip into NPAs and there could be, some slippages coming in on that front?
See, I won't worry about the NPAs because what has happened is that, if you have given loans to the people whose stability of the income has been stable, then I don't expect that an NPA could arise, anything significantly or alarmingly. So I wouldn't much worry about it. Maybe the level may go up slightly, maybe for a short duration or things like that, but nothing to worry about. I think the concern is today in the real estate market, a complete standstill has come, especially in the mid-income, as well as at a high end. And I think the real estate sector has gone ahead of the demand, which exists. And that is how we have a huge inventory and we have a slowdown as far as the new project launches are concerned. The problem is the creation of housing units at the low end of the market where government wants to give a thrust. That has been moving at a very, very slow pace for various reasons. And I think that is not moving at the desired pace.
Mr. Modi, a same follow-up question. HFC segment is supposed to be a segment where you finance 70% of the underlying collateral value. So there are very less NPAs. Indians who buy house, they definitely don't want to lose their house and their reputation both. So NPAs have been low. That is my understanding of why this business has been a stable business. But guess what? In the last 5 years, the underlying asset prices have not gone higher. Your cost of financing has only taken your cost of ownership higher. Post that, inflation and job creation has eaten into your total in-hand salary. What I'm trying to understand, Mr. Modi, from you is that the lay of the land has changed, and could we be looking at a structural NPA coming in?
So, here we have a difference because it's a very Indian cultural mindset where, you don't want to be seen defaulting. And unlike, let's say, US or a Canadian market, in Indian mortgage market, every borrower has to give their personal guarantees, etc. So even though, even if we were to assume that the value of the inherent collateral has come down, you will not see a home borrower trying to walk away by surrendering the unit. That would be a rarity. But what I fear as a larger problem, that in case the developer funding side doesn't get reactivated soon enough and the delays build up in the developer side, the borrower on the other hand will also have a limited capacity that for how long can he go on paying EMI or pre-EMI when he's not getting his apartment and he's under the double burden of rent as well as of pre-EMI interest to the banks. So that is where quick delivery is going to be very, very crucial so that the other side of the problem doesn't arise.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time out, Mr. Choksey as well as Mr. Modi, for giving us a clearer picture as to what the stance is on affordable housing, because remember, this is a sector that is being very closely tracked as to what the finance minister could potentially do by way of rolling out SOPS and improving the viability of the space as a whole.